Marshmallow Fanboy back with another video review, and this time I'm taking you back to the year 2000. Yes, it was the year that X-Men the movie first came out and the figures followed. Back then there wasn't a way to go to an online retailer and just pick these up. You had to be there in person to grab these. And I was not. I couldn't figure out how to get a hold of these figures, and they looked amazing. And I think I saw them in, probably at the time, this year 2000, maybe Toy Fair, something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, the figures look so cool. They used the best technology they could, but they were no McFarlane toys, so what you got was what you got. But Toybiz tried their best, and I think they were owned by Marvel at the time. I'm not sure. But the packaging looks really good. It has this red floating X thing, this kind of just waste of plastic. It's cool, and it holds the... Probably doesn't hold that down, but it looks like it does. It has the name of the actors as well as the character they played. The comic store was blowing these out. They only had these two, but when in the year 2000, the female characters were the most desirable because they were always the ones that were short packed. So while you got two of every character, two or three of every character, you only got one, maybe Rogue and one Jean Grey. But I'm not sure how the case breaks were in the year 2000. But that's generally what we believed as toy buyers. It was before there was an Entertainment Earth that would, or a Big Bad Toy Store that would list all of the things inside the package. But you can see Rogue still got a cloth scarf that moves around. That coat is cloth. The packaging is real intricate. And thin, it's nice. It has a X-Men the movie. And it shows you, hey, you put this cloak on her. See, she doesn't have a cloak. Then you put the cloak on her, and then boom, she's got a cloak. And don't worry, when I get to Jean Grey, it gets much worse. But it's cool because they got a Logan, and a Storm, a Magneto, Rogue, Professor X, Toad, Wolverine, Sabretooth, Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Mystique. These are all very cool characters, but I only saw these two. I think I've only... Oh, I don't know what these dots are. Are these... Maybe there's an anti-theft thing in there. I think if you were buying figures at Suncoast and things, they had... They would attach things to it, physical things to it. So it could be it's anti-theft. We'll take a closer look at that when I try to open them up. And of course, Jean Grey. The cool thing is they have the names of the actors as well as the character they played, which is a really cool and a really nice touch. You could cut this out. If you were collecting the figures back in the day, you could cut this out like a card. And you could keep that. That is a really nice touch. Also, sideways, it does say Famke Janssen as Jean Grey. That's super cool. And as promised, on the back... You squeeze Senator Kelly to feel his body mutating. Super yuck. But yeah, you get a bonus figure. That bonus figure is Senator Kelly before he turns into jelly. That's right, I made that rhyme. That's right, on Marshmallow Fanboy you get action figure reviews and rhyming. But that's what they look like. And these were $5 each at the comic store, I think. They're probably not selling and they're not worth much. I don't know, but I'm still going to break them open and take a closer look at them. So let's do that right now. Okay, now that they're out of the packages, let's take a closer look at Jean Grey and Rogue from X-Men the movie. Rogue, of course, not in an X-Men uniform, just in regular clothes. There is a Logan and a Wolverine in the wave, and the Logan is the plain clothes Wolverine, and of course Wolverine is in the black leather suit. Jean Grey looks like, I mean, it's a pretty good likeness for the time. Like I'm not gonna kill the likeness because it was really good back then, and you only really had one choice. It wasn't like we had Funko Pops and statues and all kinds of things. We did have statues. I don't know if Jean Grey got a statue. I can't remember. But the point is, you didn't have a lot of choices. The uniform looks really good. The green stripe, the green hits on it look really cool. The X logo on the collar is really nice. I'm going to go over the articulation in a minute, but first, let's do the accessories first. Senator Kelly looks gross. He's got veins, and he's got a little, I don't know if you can hear this. He's got like beads in there. It's kind of a rubbery body. There's beads in there. It's super gross. It's, that would be his butt. Sorry, that was gross too. Yeah, with the beads inside of it, it's gross. It feels gross. I don't know. They sort of didn't need to do this or add this to the... But it's a really odd piece. I'm kind of... Ooh, the head does it too. Yuck. Help me. Whoa. So, yeah, yuck. Put that aside. Rogue looks like... Rogue, you can't really lift the head up, so that she has a permanent kind of head down. Wearing a lot of makeup, so it doesn't really look like Anna Paquin. Doesn't really look a lot like Rogue. I don't remember the clothes completely, but it has a lot of really good detail. The scarf is this really nice kind of piece of material. That's really cool too. Let me see if I can get the jacket on her real quick. And the jacket is a good fit on her, and I made the scarf kind of come out. There wasn't any way to sort of attach it, no Velcro or anything. It's a heavy piece of material. It's got some sewing involved, which is really nice. The cloak, or the hood of it rather, doesn't really go around her head very well. It kind of looks a little too big, but it fits. It fits. And it would look good next to the Logan figure, maybe in a snow scene, or even in the, what was it, the RV they were driving, the first scene? Or the time they got together, first scene. That's weird. Okay, so the jacket comes off, nicely done. So let's go over the articulation on some of these. Let's see what we're working with on these figures. First, head goes side to side. You're not going to get it all the way around because the hair blocks it over the shoulders. There's no up or down. This is just a swivel at the neck. You have ball-jointed arms and ball-jointed legs. Pretty good wingspan. There is a bicep swivel there. And an elbow swivel on this one. Waist swivel. Thigh swivel. Leg hinge to 90 degrees. Foot swivel. And that is Anna Paquin as Rogue. So for Famke Janssen as Jean Grey, you get head, goes all the way around. Arm swivel. Glove swivel. At the top of the glove, that's where it swivels. Waist swivel. Thigh swivel. 90-degree knee bend. And that is Jean Grey, who is impossible to stand up. By the way, I did take one of the X's off the package. It was real easy. I just had to exert a little bit of force. They have these cardboard circles on the back. I don't think they were meant for theft prevention or anything. I think they're just an added cool bonus. Maybe you could stand your figure on them if you wanted to. I don't think that they would stay too stable on a shelf or anything. They're not really solid enough plastic to depend on. I was wrong. Well, I was right. It isn't really solid enough to put on, and you're not going to put them in the center. There's between the X, there's a little dent in the thing, so you can't really stand your figures right in the middle. I guess you could. It's up to you. If you have them, or you want to travel back to the year 2000 and grab them. So, I enjoyed taking those out. Those were fun. But the articulation on both of them is very different. Rogue, of course, has has ball jointed shoulders, and Jean Grey just has swivel shoulders. There's not much articulation in Jean. There's a lot of articulation, or at least a little bit more articulation in Rogue. Rogue's also a little bit of a sturdier figure. Jean Grey is the proportions are just extremely weird, and the feet have the stiletto heels, and they don't quite. If they lay on the flat of the feet, the stiletto doesn't quite reach the ground, so it's kind of a balancing act. So it's a little bit obnoxious. But if you enjoyed having these in 2000 and you have these in your collection, that's awesome, because we still haven't gotten a good. Well, I don't know. The other X-Men movies might have given us a good Rogue or a good Jean Grey, and I might have absolutely missed those figures too, because they were really hard to find. So hopefully you have a better time hunting these down. Go to eBay, go to your local comic book shop, see if anybody's traded them in, and get your hands on them if you're interested. And until next time, enjoy your toys.